When Palworld was announced in 2021, fans of Pokemon definitely perked up. Now it's available in early access on Steam and Xbox consoles and is doing better than anyone thought. In just 1 week, it sold over 5 million copies. For a brand new IP, that usually never happens, especially for an early access game. This goes to show that fans were eager for something innovative in the monster-catching genre. While Palworld borrows some aspects from other games, it also puts a unique spin on its gameplay. For gamers currently enjoying Palworld, they may also want to check out some other games in the open world, monster catching, and survival genres. Welcome back to Game Rant, where today we're giving you 8 games to try out if you like Palworld. Up first, we have Pokemon Legends Arceus. We had to recommend at least one game in this series, and out of all the latest entries, Pokemon Arceus stands out the most. The game tried to take the series to new heights by traveling to the past and offering players the first true open-world Pokemon experience. Plus, players could catch Pokemon freely without having to battle if they didn't want to. It was a big change from the original formula, and it was for the better even though it wasn't perfect. It's one of those games that shows its age a bit due to the Switch's limitations, but it was still a step in the right direction for the series. Our next recommendation is from a timeless series, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. We had to give this game a place on this list because this game and Palworld share a lot in common. It's not the first open world game by a long shot, but it pushed some major gameplay ideas forward. For example, the stamina gauge that allowed players to climb surfaces is similar to that of Breath of the Wild. It's also a mechanic found in other games like Assassin's Creed Origins and Genshin Impact. Breath of the Wild and Palworld share many similarities, but the bottom line is the freedom players can find in this title is still one of the most mesmerizing experiences on the system, and even more so in its sequel, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. This recommendation has also been a big influence on Palworld and has revolutionized the survival and builder genres. It's Minecraft. Releasing in 2011, the game became so popular that it almost replaced LEGO as the go-to brand for imagination and creativity. It's easy to see why, as anyone could jump in and have a good time with the game. The graphics weren't mind-blowing, but the mechanics certainly were. The structures that players have built in Minecraft over the years are truly outstanding, including a functional Pokemon mod that works similarly to Palworld. Up next, we have Dragon Quest Builders 2. This game is basically a Minecraft version of the Dragon Quest games. Players take on the role of an adventurer who gets to explore multiple islands alone or with friends. They can fight monsters in action combat, or they can build structures to their heart's content. Some might think it's even better than its inspiration, since there is a story and ultimately a point to everything going on in Dragon Quest II Builders, as opposed to Minecraft. There are no animal companions like in Palworld, but there is plenty of creativity found in the crafting aspects. Our next recommendation is No Kuni 2: Revenant Kingdom. The first game in the series was a turn-based RPG, wherein players can befriend Pokemon-like creatures named Familiars. No Kuni 2: Revenant Kingdom has Familiars, but they exist in battle as mindless AI-driven mobs instead. The game also features action-based combat instead of the normal turn-based that the series typically uses. It also has colorful swordplay and special moves aplenty. A new castle-building mechanic was also implemented in the sequel as a sort of mini-simulation RPG that has some crafting-like mechanics. Palworld fans may be split on which game to play in the series, but this one is definitely worthwhile. World of Final Fantasy is a curious spin-off that throws two twins into a fantastical world filled with Final Fantasy characters like Cloud, Squall, and Lightning. However, the gameplay doesn't feature these classic heroes, apart from summons. Instead, the twins, Lan and Rayan, can befriend classical Final Fantasy monsters for their turn-based battles, like Chocobos, Cactars, and even Magic-Tech armor. These creatures can be ridden in battle if they're big enough, and stack on the heads of the twins if they are small enough. Getting down to our last couple of recommendations, our next one is Dark Cloud 2. This is another game from Level 5, the developers behind No Kuni 2: Revenant Kingdom, and it's easy to see where the ideas for that game came from with this title. This action RPG features Max and Monica, who can explore dungeons to search for NPCs and building materials. The point of the game is to restore cities to their former glory in a building sim outside of dungeons where materials are retrieved. Each character has a unique ability. Max can ride a robot named Steve, and Monica can copy monster DNA to transform into that monster during combat. Our last recommendation on this list is Cult of the Lamb. This game is a perfect fit for Palworld fans since it has both Pokemon and Minecraft aspects with a darker tone. The roguelike gameplay allows players to recruit NPCs in dungeons to become new followers in their seemingly innocent cult. The cute character designs are a bit misleading though, because there are plenty of blood sacrifices and cannibalism amidst the happy-go-lucky aesthetic. It's not a big game, but the developers are still tinkering away to make it better with new and improved content, which is always nice to see from an indie title. While Palworld is still in early access as of this video, players can always check out these other titles if they're looking for something similar. We hope you enjoyed our recommendations, and thanks for hanging out with us over here on Game Rant.